Hi guys, Mr. Bart here, and I'm coming to you today. I'd like to speak to you about listening. If you guys have children, this is something that's at the core of every single day. Getting your children to listen, getting your children to follow directions. Um, Number one tip I could give you right off the bat, use their name. Children love to hear their names. They think their name is the best thing in the world. So even at our school, when we talk with the children, it's always their name. Always point out their name. Great job, Johnny. Timmy, you're doing great. Cheryl, excellent work. They love to hear their name, and they think it's even better if there's praise following it, right? So, number one tip, getting kids to listen better, use their name. It will change everything right from the start. Positive language, number two. Language has all different types of hidden meaning to it, different connotations. So when you remove the negativity from the language and you replace it with something that's more on a positive level, you're going to get a different result, and often it's a better result. So for example, the child does something wrong, whatever that is, from knocking something over, breaking something, eating something they weren't supposed to, whatever it is, most of the time, what are you thinking? That doesn't make sense. What's wrong with you? These are all things that are giving them this poor self-image of themselves, negative feeling about themselves. So you want to try and replace that with something that's a little bit more positive. What I used to do with my son is I used to try and figure out what the behavior was. So instead of saying, that doesn't make sense, or what were you thinking? I would say something like, hey, tell me, what led up to this decision? Like, what were you thinking when you said, okay, I'm going to have that chocolate cake before dinner? So were you standing there and you thought, what? That's right. Whatever the example is, or whatever the thing is that you're trying to understand from them, you're really looking to find out how they came up with this decision that it was the best thing for them at the moment. If you could understand their behavior, if you could understand why they did what they did, you could prevent it in the future. And say, okay, when my son or my daughter looks at a situation, this is the thought process they go through. Is it going to hurt me, or is it going to help me? Is it something I want, or is it something I don't want? Whatever's going on in their mind that they're explaining to you, that's the process they're going to use all the time. And if you know that, then you can set up your environment so that they make better decisions all the time. Understanding their behavior is going to give you an upper hand, and eventually learn to get them to listen to you better, because you're going to come away as a genius. Okay. Eye contact. This is the key to everything. I mean, you say, when I talk to you, look at me. Look at me when I talk to you, right? You're teaching them this all the time. And it's a skill that we need when we go into the community. It's a skill we need in school, in the job force. Our whole life is going to be about eye contact. So when you're in the kitchen and you're making dinner and you're cleaning and wiping things, and your child comes over and is like, Mommy, Daddy, I have a question. Mommy, and what do you need? You're not giving them the eye contact that you are demanding from them. You're not modeling the behavior you want them to exhibit. So give them the eye contact, give them your ear, and actually listen to what they're having to say. Because if you listen and you give them eye contact, they'll listen and give you eye contact. This is where mutual respect starts to happen. It happens when your children are young. So give them that few minutes, give them the eye contact, and they'll listen a lot better to you. The next thing is your volume, or your intonation, or your intensity when you're speaking to them. You come into their playroom, they got toys all over the place. What a mess! And you're yelling, right? Right away. Okay, I did something wrong. They didn't do something wrong. They're children. They play. They make messes. How can you use what we teach them? Take a breath. Now I'll be able to make a better choice on how to respond to this. Okay, it's just toys all over the place. The world's not going to end. Let me see if I could get them to clean this up and understand the clean environment is a safe environment, you know? How would you feel if your little brother came in here and fell and cut themselves because they fell on your toys or your Legos or whatever, right? Getting them to see different ways to do it. Well, okay, we can make a mess, and then we're going to take 15 minutes to get a school bus and go around and pick up all the kids. So you give them that little red wagon, they come around, they pick up all their toys, they put it in the wagon, they drop off all the toys in their little spaces because the school bus drops the kids at home. You gave them a fun activity, you gave them a story, you gave them a position of authority, a school bus driver, and you're helping them organize their room as opposed to yelling and screaming, right? So taking that breath, reasoning with them, giving them different ideas and different solutions to solve the issues in hand, right? Keep everything very simple for them because their brain isn't processing information the way ours is. So sometimes it's as simple as, please, sit down, right? As opposed to, okay, we're going to go eat dinner. I need you to wash your hands. I need you to comb your hair. You're going to go and sit down at the table and we're going to start to, it's too much information for them. All they need to know is it's time to eat. Sit down. Good. I got it. They'll listen better if they understand it better, right? If you model your behaviors around theirs, like we were talking before about listening when you're doing something, maintaining that eye contact, you're going to get that behavior back. So if you're modeling good behavior, you're going to get that good behavior. So share this with other people that have children. Why? Because if you have children, you're in this boat. I have a child, I'm still in that boat with you. Getting them to listen is a lifelong it's a lifelong journey that parents have to suffer. But it can be fun. And if you understand what's going on in their heads, it makes it really easy for us to do what we need to do. Use their name, maintain eye contact, breathe. You'll make better choices, they'll make better choices. Make them feel like what they're doing is important to you, right? Acknowledge it. Ask them if you can suggest alternatives to what they've done or what they want to do, right? So if you give them suggestions, make sure they ask for it first, right? Keep it simple, model good behavior. I'm sure you're going to get the response you want, which is better listening from them. Talk to you guys soon.